Hi, I'm Spence Graham with Real Digital Media, a Stratacash company, and also chairman of the Digital Signage Federation. And you are watching and listening to the AV Life.
There, this is Kim Frank, Geopath President, and you are listening to and watching the AV Life.
Hi, this is James King. I am the writer of the IT in AV under the higherEdAV.com media group, and you are listening and watching the AV Life.
Hi, this is Renee Benson at AVNAKC, and you're listening to watching AV Life.
This is Nancy Blanchard with Williams AV as Global Consultant, and you are listening and watching the AV Life.
And hi, this is Tim Van Wert from Rutgers University in Digital Classroom Services. And I'm your host here as you watch and listen to the AV Life. Yeah, I apologize. It seems like we had a little bit of noise there. I don't know where that came from, but if you didn't hear there, we are welcoming our newest crew member, Nancy. How are you tonight? And welcome aboard.
I'm great, thanks. I'm located here in Northern California, nice and sunny, great weather. And I am, as I mentioned, liaison consultant globally. So I'm working with consultants for Williams with our assistive listening products, as well as real-time AI-based translation and open captioning.
That's wonderful. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, Nancy, how long have you been with Williams?
I've been with Williams since August 2019.
All right. And what about your overall AV time? How much time have you put in for us in the AV industry?
Well, I actually got into the AV industry in 1996.
All right.
In Toronto, because that's where I'm from, is Canada. And then when I moved over to California, I was involved with AMX.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, we are so happy that you're here to join us. We've had you on a few times as a guest, and you've given us some great times with that. So we, in a celebration of how we are here at the AV Life, we want to maintain our eclectic group here. We have folks that are in higher ed, we have folks that are in the manufacturer side, end users, AV adjacent, data and everything there. And we really try to maintain that. And of course, Spence, I don't want to forget about your signage, part over there. So yeah, so today's episode is really we're going to be short. It's not going to be a long one. We wanted to welcome Nancy in, but we also kind of wanted to talk a little bit about us as the AV Life. We have a new year. We got the crew going here. And also let's not forget about Joe Way and Murphy Daly. Murphy couldn't join us tonight, and I know Joe's plate has been very full as of late, so that's perfectly okay that they're not with us tonight to record this. So yeah, Spence, I know before we came on here, we've started having a full conversation about us as the AV Life. Do you want to? I know you had some good points. You want to expand on that a little bit too?
Well, I was just saying that one of the interesting things about this group is that it is eclectic. We come from all different directions. We have vertical markets represented. We have technology represented. We have manufacturers. We have other vendors. We've got end users. It just runs the gamut.
Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing about that, I think, looking back to when I got started in digital signage when I was running a television network at West Virginia University. And my point simply is this, that I didn't know the first thing about digital signage when I was tasked to create a network. But by going in there and building these relationships with these folks that are around the screen here in this podcast, people that we've interviewed in the past, you build a network of professionals around you that when you have a challenge, you reach out to them and you know they're going to pick up the phone and help you,
Hmm.
happily help you. And that's my point, is simply that we're nobody overly special. We're here to help anybody, and we'll have some fun along the way.
Yes, we do. We always have some great times here. And Kim, I know you could speak to the years of being involved with the AV life and the AV Roadhouse and the AV Roadhouse Resurrected, and we've definitely had some good times over the years. And I think that's always been a tradition. Am I right on that? That we've
Yeah,
had the eclectic group.
I love Spence's point is that it's like we're no one without each other, right? And now is a time of crazy change and crazy chaos and crazy opportunity. And it's like really great to be among everybody now. And, we spent some time tonight really talking about what does the next year look like for the AV life. And I'm super excited to, have everybody alongside with me as we kind of explore what the next phase of all of our lives are as we're coming out of this period of amazing reset. I think it's really exciting and it's challenging and it's scary, but with the challenge and the scariness comes this huge opportunity. So I'm really excited to be kind of this adopted member of the AV community. So thank you, Tim.
Yeah, the AV adjacent, as we've always leaned to, and Kim, I mean, you've been here with me since, it's been like what, 3 years now. It's at least that I've been doing this. When Corey first brought us in, and or you were already well established at that point. You were like Corey's right hand woman at that point. So
Yeah,
it's
he just couldn't get rid of me.
yeah. And Corey liked keeping the group eclectic, and that's how it's always been. That's how it always will be. So as much as we are focusing on that here, things are, some things we're going to hold tradition to, and we're going to keep going in that realm. Renee, what are your thoughts about how you're kind of like the mid-range crew member here? So and then I could talk to James, and I could talk to Nancy, and kind of like, I'm glad. Yeah, I hope we didn't really scare Nancy too much today with all the stuff that we talked about before this recording. So, but Renee, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think Spence said it already, but I mean, I think just it's such a small industry, it really is. So me being introduced to, I don't even remember how it happened. I was just listening to podcasts and I think Corey had tweeted it, or Michelle Lorette, or somebody had tweeted it, and I started listening. And I hooked up with Corey at Infocom, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" I was listening to the episode. It was I don't know, about brandy or whiskey or something, and I was literally crying, trying not to pee my pants. It was so funny. Like, I'm like, I have to get more involved with this. This is awesome. And then I go to work for NEC, and I actually work with RV. I worked with him there, and so it's like, okay, this world just keeps getting smaller. But what this podcast did for me is it got me more familiar with Twitter, AV tweets, AV family. And the snowball effect has happened since then. So, and in turn, when I lost my job, thank you, COVID. When I lost my job, it was literally my inbox on LinkedIn was just going crazy from the people that I now call family, AV family, that were there to look out for me, including, Murphy's not on this call, but she immediately was sending me the links that she had been using to look for a job. And it was just like, all of a sudden, it was like when I needed some assistance, 7 million people stepped up to help me. And it was just amazing. And I can't say enough that I date that all back to being a part of this podcast, being a part of this community. And so I should be landing here at a new role here in the next couple of weeks. And if all the stars line up, it will be because a friend referred me, an AV family member referred me.
Mhm.
And so I think it's great that, I mean, Murphy and I can after we get into our new roles, for a little bit, we can maybe talk about what we did and how we can help other people that are in the same boat. Because let's face it, it's kind of ugly out there right now still, and I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. But if we can, as part of the AV life, help the next person, then that's part of kind of like a pay it forward as far
Mhm.
as I'm concerned. So I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be part of the crew, and I love y'all. And thank you to everybody who listens and keeps us rocking and rolling.
Well, we love you too, Renee, and we're thankful that you're here with us, and your energy and enthusiasm is always, and you always have those questions too. Like you always have the when we're interviewing people, you always have those questions about like that next level thought stuff. So we're glad to
Yeah.
have you on. Yeah. So and James, as well, you were the youngest crew member, but as far as time in, so in the short period of time, and let me say, you also listen to probably the most amount of podcasts that of any person that I know. So I don't know when you find time to listen to all these podcasts on top of all your work at Stockton, because I know how it is at Rutgers, and I'm I really applaud you on that.
You're right. I do listen to a lot of podcasts, and I actually I chopped that up to one of a student I had in one of my classes that I was taking for my MBA, and he got talking about podcasts just in general. I never really did podcasts, and I'm like, maybe I'll start listening. So I started picking out a couple, and then seeing the ones online for the AV tweets and stuff, and I just started adding here and there. I really started with a soccer podcast first, the United Soccer Coaches one, which is done pretty well. But I listen to the car ride. So whenever I'm in the car by myself, I got podcasts on instead of music. So I got a 20-minute commute back and forth. But out of all the podcasts I listen to, the one thing I like about the AV life, and not just because now that I'm a crew member is, but what do we do in the AV field? We take parts from different manufacturers and make a cohesive system. You look here right now, we got 6 people here, all in different areas, different levels in AV, and we're coming out with a cohesive system of this podcast. And there's not one person is more important than another. The whole system works as a whole, and that's what it's great about this podcast is you have not just someone in higher ed or not just someone in digital signage or the adjacent or manufacturing. You have them all, and this way is we balance each other out. We if Renee has a question about higher ed, we got people here in higher ed who can answer it, or digital signage, and vice versa. I the collective group we have here is what's great.
Yeah. And that's exactly why we brought Nancy on as well. So I mean, Nancy, I mean, your experience with us is been a little more recent with a couple appearances as a guest, but I mean, if you want to speak towards your experience from that side before now that you're on the verge of becoming a crew member, so go ahead. Let's hear what you have to say about us from the outside, I guess you could say.
Oh, it's just all the variety of topics, and as you said, with it being an agnostic type of platform, of bringing a variety of different people from different professions and together. There's more ideas, there's more opinions. It makes it a lot more interesting. We all have different experiences. We've all been in the industry for different amounts of time, and I completely agree with Renee. It is a small family. That's why I love being in the AV industry, is for that fact. Everybody might have a different logo on their polo shirts as we all move from one company to the next, but we all look out for one another. And so it's very much, as I've seen it, a pay it forward, as you said, Renee, with your new position in that. Um, and I think out of COVID, that is the one thing that I'm really impressed with our community, is how they have started these groups, so that if you unfortunately aren't in a or unemployed, um, everybody is like listening and putting together a group of where there are job openings. So it's something that you can go to, because it's hard, especially when you've been furloughed or let go. It's really hard. But with the support that we have, you know that people are out there and that they care for you and that they're watching over you and they're looking out for you. So it more or less could be like, you don't feel like you're a loser. Oh my gosh, I lost my job now. Here everybody is, and they're employed, and what am I going to do? Or it's not like that at all. It's very professional, I guess you could say. We have a very mature market, and then also leaning on what James said too. Um, as I mentioned, agnostic. There's lots of interesting topics, and that's what I really enjoy. And I'm excited about joining the group.
We are excited to have. Yay!
Yeah, welcome.
One of us. One of us.
That's and I just referenced that earlier tonight too. So yes, and we're very happy to have you with us, Nancy. It's gonna be a fun ride. We've been doing some great things for our AV family here, so we want to continue in that. We want to have the fun that we always have, and you've all come to know and love of the AV life, or whatever other AV lifestyle podcast that you've listened to from our founder Corey Moss over the years. So just as a little bit of a teaser, we've kind of gotten got the brain trust together, and we've come up with some of the episodes that we're going to be getting towards over the course of the next couple months. We're gonna so I don't know if anybody wants to give out any in specific, but I know I've got some. I personally have some feelers out for possibly a big guest. I'm not going to say who yet, but I'm hoping and got my fingers crossed that I'll get some
really big,
very big.
huge. Oh no, not that guy. But anyway, so yeah, I've got my my emails out for that, and we'll see if we get somebody in. But we have as already has been stated on the higheredav.com website under our podcast, we do have an episode of network security, and another one about the digital divide coming up. So look for those, and then coming in February, maybe I'm gonna drop this as a teaser. I don't know if it's common knowledge yet, and maybe Joe will be upset with me, but I'm doing it anyway. The theme for the February higheredav.com website is going to be for the love of AV. So coming in February, we're gonna talk about some things, a little have lovey-dovey type stuff, maybe, or maybe not necessarily.
Oh my gosh!
No, we're not gonna get all mushy though, Spence. We all have our. We did last in the fall. We did kind of do a little bit of a the love of AV episode. We're
gonna do that, I want to crawl into one of these other screens.
You're gonna see. All of a sudden, he's gonna Spence's gonna show up somewhere else.
I'm gonna show up somewhere else.
all of a sudden, Spence is gonna show up in like Missouri.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on down.
Maybe we should push that off until it's safe to leave anybody's state. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a lot of things, hopefully happening around the country and in the industry that we want to talk about too in the coming months.
Yes, there's a lot of things that are kind of on the fence of happening. In the short term, what we do know is happening is the HETMA Spring Conference. That's coming up in early February. So for all of our higher ed AV folk that are out there, go to hetma.org and look up the registration information, get yourself signed up for that. And we'll be discussing that coming up as well. So we're going to give you I don't want to drop any names yet as to who's coming, but we will be talking about doing a little preview of the conference.
Well, and we've got Murphy coming in with some project management thoughts.
mhm.
We've got Kim with her firing range, which is always never ceases to amaze me how we can
Exactly.
how we can become friends and frenemies real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then don't forget we got the AV Rockstar coming up as well.
That's true.
yep, we will be
Yep.
getting that off the ground once we've got our list of people started. So come to we're not gonna again we're on. This is not a drop names episode. This is a teasing that it's coming episode. So don't think I'm gonna drop any names of anybody.
Right.
So but come that's coming up. That's gonna be a regular weekly segment. We're gonna bring them in. They're gonna jump in on all the fun and excitement. So and thank you.
Well, and you ought to let folks know how they can get in touch with you, Tim, if they have ideas of some topics that they might want us to either experiment, discuss, or blow up for them.
Mhm. Oh yeah, hey, yeah, that's so yeah. So you can find me. So I've got a better email address now. So it's Tim at higheredav.com is now a very easy email address that you can reach me at. You could also reach me at the AV Life Pod on Twitter. So if you have any recommendations for an AV rock star that you want to have experience the AV life and have us shine the spotlight on them, you can send me a message. We'll get connected. We'll see if we can get them when we can get them on, and give them the experience. If there's a topic you want to talk about, because as eclectic as we are, there's still so much out there that's still being done that we may not be necessarily aware of. So you are our literal eyes and ears out there to bring it back to us. We are open for new topics and new discussion, and like Sven said, we'll tear it apart if we need to too. So and also we're always looking for sponsors too, so we're just putting that little plug out there. So if anyone's interested in getting your name out to the, as we talked about last week, the 64,000 unique users that hit the higheredav.com website in the month of December, you could you reach out through the website. That'll get you the appropriate people to talk about that.
I still think that's amazing. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, no,
Even
and
when I read it back, I was like, it was 64,000. That's awesome.
yeah, 64 unique people from globally. I think
Yeah.
is that's what Joe said.
With an average of 23 to 28 minutes on the site.
Yep. Which means they're coming, they're looking at
Yep.
everything and experiencing the site.
Yep.
So, and it's constantly evolving. It's constantly getting better. This is just something that we're very proud of, and we've been spending a lot of time making sure it's the best it can be for all of you listeners out there. Yeah, I see Kim shared with us an item on Kickstarter that she was looking at, and that might be a future episode that might be coming out with. So we'll, but I'm going to leave that again as well. So, is there anything else? The other episodes that people want to talk about? Maybe a little bit. I'm going to leave it out there because I don't want to talk. I don't want to be the one that spoils all the themes. So,
That's right.
No, all right, we're going to be lip sealed now. Okay, so we're going to
Tune in for the next.
So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, like I said, this is just a short episode this week. We'll get everybody back next week and we'll record, and we'll let you know what we're up to. Again, if you have AV Rockstar you want to nominate, or if you have topics you want to talk about, reach out and let us know. And thank you to the crew. Welcome, Nancy. Again, we are glad to have you. And everybody be safe.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Wear a mask. I'm going to say it. Wear a mask. Wherever you are, if your state mandates it or otherwise, please wear a mask. Please be safe. Social distance. We'll be able to hug each other very soon at some event. So let's just do what we need to now. And until our next adventure.